everyone, for coming to From Chaos to Clarity, organizing our home and business like a CEO mom. This is Living Faith Moms. I am Ebony Kimber. I'm the CEO and owner of Living Faith Moms, and we are here for this webinar tonight to talk about how working moms can reclaim their time, reduce burnout, and scale with sanity, hopefully, as best as we can with Jesus. Just as a disclaimer, I'm a single mama. I have no babysitters. My two kids are live at 6 o'clock at night. So you're going to hear them in the background. I'm going to be momming and I'm going to be training at the same time. So just so y'all know, that's just the thing. And I'm going to pray and I'm going to talk about Jesus a lot. So those are the three disclaimers, is that's just kind of what it is. Okay. So I'm going to pray us in and then we're going to get started. If you have questions in the midst of this, please just come off mute and interrupt me. It's fine. Even if I'm recording it, it's totally fine. If you have questions, ask away. Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, for this day you have made. We rejoice and we are glad in it. And we invite you, your Holy Spirit presence, to saturate this space, to allow the people that come in, the women that come in, the moms that come in, the supporters that come in, that you will just allow them to hear your heart to them and you will receive and accept any and everything that you have for them in this moment today. We thank you, we bless you, and we praise you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, so let's get started. Thank you all for coming. This whole thing came up because in 2016, I started my very first business, which is called Living Faith Management and Consulting, and I was super excited. And I thought, like, within a couple of months that my business would kick off, and I was hoping to be able to leave my job, which I was really hating at the time, and that I would be working in business full time, and I was just hoping that it would be just in time for me to start having babies. And none of that happened. It was a mess and I was all over the place. I was doing what others were doing. I was just kind of copying and just using these templates that people were saying. It was a big deal to be a small business owner, entrepreneur back then. And, I was just flying by the seat of my pants. And don't get me wrong, like I was booking clients and I was doing a decent job in the startup process. But I probably would have been able to grow the business more, but I only consulted with God that one time when he told me I would be a business owner. And then I just like scuttled away, like, oh God, that's a great idea. Okay. And I just kind of scuttled along and just did my own thing in my own pride. And then a couple of years later, the Lord told me in my prayer time very plainly, it's time to shut it down. I mean, things weren't going well by that time anyway, but I didn't want to shut it down. Like I felt like a failure. I felt like it was the worst thing in the world at the time. So, like I said, that was in 2017, and you fast forward now to 2025. In between that time, in these years, God has taught me really so much on how to build my character, how to check my pride, and I'm just simply here to share my testimony and just some of the lessons that I have learned over time. So that's what we're here for. And honestly, if you are a mom or a supporter of a mom and you feel like you have been juggling the balls of like everything, like just trying to keep it all together, trying not to drop those balls, you're not alone, right? So what you will walk away from this webinar is that you'll get a simple system to create mental clarity, how to plan like a CEO, even if it's just at home, which not just, I'm going to take that just out of it, and why adding support like a VA is a game changer. Okay, so I was doing a little bit of research on this, and I found a couple of stats, which I found interesting, and I think you will too. So apparently in the United States, it's estimated that out of about 35 million working mothers, they did a study, 9.8 million suffer from workplace burnout. Working mothers are 28% more likely to experience burnout than working fathers, which translates to about 2.35 million extra cases due to unequal demands of home and work life. And so then there's this whole concept of time poverty, which I was introduced to. Time poverty apparently is when you have insufficient discretionary time because you have high commitments in paid work or domestic labor. And apparently women are more likely to be time poor. And apparently they're also more burdened by what's known as the second shift. This is what the world calls it. And that's after work, which is, taking care of your family. And they call it domestic tasks. So it's just taking care of your family. It's just being a wife and a mom. And then time poverty has consequences, right? So in the United States, 24% of women reported delaying or skipping their health care because they didn't have time, and 14% cited because of childcare difficulties. And additionally, time poverty is associated with higher risks of obesity, impaired mental health, and less time for self-care. So a couple of other things that I think about when I think about what moms struggle with is sometimes we feel guilty. We feel guilty because we don't have enough time to meet the needs of our kids. Like I know for me, I work from home, but both my kids are in school. And sometimes I feel bad because I feel like that in between time between us getting home from school and going to bed, it seems short sometimes. And it seems like I just do not have enough mental capacity sometimes to give them the attention that they're asking for me. I feel guilty sometimes for filling it with TV sometimes. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I feel guilty because our budget is tight. We can't always do things that, other kids and families do all the time. So that may be something that moms feel. And then also, there's a thing called multitasking fatigue. So sometimes there's always something to do. Like I'm juggling dinner time, keeping my kids as calm as possible, doing this webinar, thinking about ahead of time of what we have to do tomorrow, what I have to do next week. It's just this constant process of having to do, right? And sometimes we're over that. And then another thing that we struggle with sometimes as mom is like a lack of white space, like the sounds, the sounds. It's just constant. Like I have a nonverbal autistic son, but obviously vocalizations are a thing. Talking kids, people are like reporting things, phone calls, work, all it's just the lack of quietness is sometimes very, very loud. Um, and not having time for ourselves is tough, right? Like I remember thinking over the summer, like my oldest was out of school, and I just remember thinking to myself, like, I just need a moment of not being touched, of not being talked to, of not being needed. Like I just need a moment, right? So yeah, then there are some unique stressors for like corporate moms. So moms who are in the workspace. I was a program director at a nonprofit for 5 years, so I understand what that looks like. There's like this pressure to perform, especially when you have a team, when you have a budget to manage, you have more requests being made, speaking engagements, and then you have limited control over your schedule because like when your workers are out, you're expected to take care of things. So that pressure is on. And then entrepreneur moms have unique stressors. So they have the freedom, like we have freedom, but it's so difficult to have boundaries or support. So that's the problem, right? Enough of talking about the problems. We all know this. We go through these things. We understand what this looks like, right? So ChatGPT gave me an idea. Shout out to ChatGPT. It is helpful to help tighten up your ideas of a 3P method, but I tweaked it a little bit because I didn't love the idea, but I made it my own, if you will. Okay. So ChatGPT calls it the 3P method. So we're going to talk about plug in, prepare and plan, and prioritize help are the 3Ps. Okay. And I have a free workshop for you all at the end of this for those of you who are here tonight. So plug in. So ChatGPT had this listed as a plug-in help, and I do want to keep that. But my thing is I want, because I'm a Christian, I'm a believer, I love Jesus. My thing is you have to plug into the Lord. Like you have to take the time. All right. I just personally, for me, that has been the game changer for me. It's what I didn't do in 2017, and it's what I am doing now. And I am such a calmer, collected, more put together person, and I'm not trusting in my own way because otherwise my brain is just just not working. Ways to plug in is becoming a devoted and disciplined person. So when I'm devoted, that means I'm seeking the Lord with desire in my heart, and I'm inquiring how He desires to speak to me and for how long. So I'm making sure to spend that time to consecrate myself to Him, and I'm making sure that I'm eliminating all distractions, all idols. And that helps me to keep all outside forces from penetrating exactly what it is that I'm supposed to be doing. It's the mistake I made in 2016 and 2017. Everybody had an idea for entrepreneurs, like a tagline. Y'all, I was pitiful. If you ever find any of my old Periscope videos, I had some weird tagline like this is Ebony with an E, not with an I, or something like that. Because there was some other entrepreneur that was doing something like that. Baby, I was annoyed with myself. Like, why was I doing that? I don't even know. So it's just like I was just out there because somebody, I remember going to a class and someone saying, you have to stop doing those Gmails. You need to pay for a website with your email. And that's all great, but I had no money. I had no clients and I had no money. So I needed to use the Gmail. And I'm like wrecking myself trying to scrape together money to get this email with the web. It's just, I had not taken out one time to have some quiet time and space to get direction. And I just needed to eliminate those distractions. So worship, praising, praying, taking just time. Like, it's so hard when you have all this background noise from these kids and you're trying to organize yourself and prioritize and plan. You have to start with a quiet time to plug in and get your direction. Once you get your direction, then you can prepare and plan. Okay. And this is where it's my jam. Okay. It's when the my little organizing fingers get happy. Okay. So you can decide however you want to prioritize and plan once you have your clarity. The chaos is going to be taken out once you plug in. So then you come in and get your clarity. So you can use a couple different things. You can use time blocking. I love Google Calendar. It's my jam. I love it so much. And that's what I use. If I could share my screen with you all, you probably would go crazy because it's a lot. But I time block on my calendar all the time. And that includes creating space for when I'm doing self-care, whenever I'm doing exercise, whenever, like, sometimes I include travel. I have to include travel time because I use Calendly for my bookings. And I have to create space because sometimes I forget. I open up my calendar and then I don't leave time for travel. You have to leave time for travel. So if I'm picking up my son, he gets out of school at 3 o'clock, and then I have to pick up my oldest by 3:30, 3:45. I can't have an appointment on my calendar for 4 o'clock. So I have to stretch out my calendar schedule that really more like 4:30, 4:45. So you have to be thinking about those things when you're time blocking and looking out at your calendar ahead of time. Theme days is another great way to prepare and plan when you're like organizing yourself. I'm changing this, but this has worked for me in the past, is like cleaning days. So for those of you who are the CEO of your house, organizing cleaning days. So for example, right now, which I said it's changing, Mondays are bedroom days, is when I wash all the linens, I vacuum up the floors, I straighten up the bedrooms. Tuesdays are, I think, bathroom days right now, where I clean up both bathrooms, mop the floors, clean the bathtubs out, sinks, all of that, wash towels. Wednesdays are the living room and the playroom days when I organize that, and then Thursdays are kitchen days. I'm probably gonna have to change that because we've had a little bit of a schedule change. So that's another thing, is just like checking in with, you have to make sure week to week, you make sure that's still working for you. So that's also where time blocking and theme days work together. And then weekly prep. So I try to check my calendar every day to make sure what we have scheduled is working for us. But if anything, if you can set your days, and you can maybe even split your entrepreneur CEO days and your CEO work days. because you may overwhelm yourself. So one day could be Sunday, you could do CEO Sunday, where everything business, you time block, you work out your week just for the business. And maybe Monday, Tuesday, you focus on home. And you look at the week, figure out what the week is going to look like. That can include your meal prep and planning, your grocery shopping, whatever. And just kind of like really just focusing in on, okay, what is it that I need to be focusing on? And you can make lists. You can use a journal, you can use digital, you can use paper. I don't necessarily like pinning people into certain things. I just give suggestions and you find the right thing that works for you. Because it's different for everybody. Some people are visual learners, some people are tactile, so they need to be, I've seen people who have where you move icons on a calendar. Um, I'm a digital person. I like to see everything I need to be able to have it in my phone. I need to see it on my phone. So that's just the way that I do it. God bless you. Um, Templates for repeatable routines. I have a couple of different ones. I have a couple of different journals that I could share if you're interested. We can sit down in a one-on-one session and we can like figure out what works for you. There are some goal action templates that I have where you set a goal, you set up action steps that works for some people, especially if you are needing help on completing things, like you're a procrastinator or you're somebody who starts something but doesn't finish it. Goals and action steps are fantastic for that. It helps you build your stamina. Okay, that's prepare and plan. So we have plug in, prepare and plan, and then the third P is prioritize health. So once you have your plans, you've prepared and you've made the plans. So let's say you make a goal, you set a goal to meal plan once a week. And then you will have 3 meals meal plan in the week for a month. Okay. And always set a time. So your deadline. So let's say you want to have that planned out by October 31st. Okay. Always give yourself time. Don't try to rush it. Okay. So by October 31st, you will be planning a meal plan for your family 3 days a week by October 31st. So you may have to start small. So then you look at it and you determine what is the priority in setting this goal. And it could be for you is looking in your cabinet and seeing what things do I have? Do I need to look and see what meals me and my family are regularly having, and what meals do we want to try? Do you need to do an audit of how much you're spending on groceries or what you're spending on groceries? Do you need to sit down with the spouse and have a conversation? This is what we're doing, or with the whole family. Maybe you have teenagers or older kids that you want to discuss. This is what we're doing as a family. Do you need to take some time to pray about it? Lord, how do you want me to do this? Maybe you're switching your family's diet and you need to identify. And then once you kind of identify what is the priority of where you want to start, then you start to set non-negotiables. Okay. So that's an example for if you are at home. Maybe you're a corporate mom who is a CEO, you have staff, and you are needing to establish self-care routines for yourself because you are doing everything. So you need to establish what type of self-care routines do I need to establish for myself. And you need to then decide, and I need to have a meeting with my staff and start delegating assignments to people. List out the things that need to be taken care of for the next 6 weeks for me and my team, and identify who has the skills to be able to complete those things, and then assign them accordingly. Have communications with them to make sure that they have clear understanding of what these tasks are that need to be completed, and make sure you identify how they can come back and communicate with you of this is how they have completed that task. So you're not worrying about, oh my goodness, how's it been done? And this can even be done at home with your children when you're doing a chore chart or something like that, or with your husband, and to say, I need your help. I need you to help me. And then you start to delegate, and then you start to automate. And also you start to eliminate, because there may be some things that are being done that don't need to be done. Okay. And so this is where you start to really like hunker down on routines of what it is that you should and shouldn't be doing. So let me talk about what a virtual assistant. That's what I mean when I say a VA. What a virtual assistant can do for you as a mom. So I am fantastic at calendar management. I love it. I love it so much. I color coordinate. I set reminders. I do all the things. And so what I can do for a VA, as a VA for a mom, is sit down, do all of this thing. I am, as a coach, I'm always going to tell you to check with Jesus first. I'm not the Lord, so I don't know what you're supposed to be doing. So I'm going to say, okay, go pray, take some time, and then we'll have a meeting. And when we have the meeting, you're going to come back to me and say, okay, this is what the Lord is telling me to do. And I'll say, okay, let's start to prepare and plan. And then we're oftentimes going to do a brain dump of everything that you feel like the Lord said. And then we're going to start talking about what to prioritize, what we can delegate, what we can eliminate, and what we can automate. And then we're going to start putting on the calendar, and I can do that for you so you don't have to do it for yourself. I can do the meal plans for you. If you do your preparing and planning, you tell me what are the common meals for you and your family, then I can make the grocery list for you and I can send it to you. I can make out the meals and I send it to you and you approve it. And then I send that out to you for however much how often you want me to send that. I also love organizing email inboxes. So if you are the person who has a notification that says 4,000 or 5,000 emails in your email inbox, child, call me. Because I would love to come in and delete those for you. Because you don't need them. I'm letting you know you don't need them. 4,000 or 5,000 is crazy talk. I don't get past if mine gets past 2,000, I'm losing my mind. I'm just deleting everything. I don't even care if it's important because it's too much. I should have checked it 2-3 months ago. Okay. So I'm just saying, let me help you. Okay. If you need help with your business operations, so you need help checking your emails or responding to clients, phone calls, follow-ups. I am not a huge social media poster, so that's really not my jam. But if you need me to, I can do that. I'm learning it, and ChatGPT helps. So if you need me to do that, I can. But I'm more of like a phone call, calling people, responding to business inquiries, and things like that. And there are other things that I can help with as a virtual assistant as well. So 5 to 10 hours a month can be transformational for you, just to have somebody to delegate to. So I just know that we're looking more for transformation in your process, right? I what's the word? I press myself upon my friend group all the time of my skills of like just you should delete those emails or you should make a chart. It's just I don't know if it's a disease or a help. I don't know, but that's just something that is in my heart. It's a passion of mine to help people get organized. I just love doing it. I currently work in a program for moms at a school. And it just happens to be moms. It's really for families of the schools. It's elementary, middle, and high school. And I talk to them all the time. They always say, I'm just so happy to be a part of this program. It's helped me so much. And all we do is talk to them, find out what their goals are. We set them, forgive me for my kids, you guys. We set them up with a mentor, and that mentor sets goals and action steps with them. And then we just encourage them and walk alongside them in the process. That's all we do. That's literally all we do. And so I tell them all the time, like, you're doing the work. Sometimes you just need somebody to walk alongside you, is all. And that's, and I'm so happy. I'm so happy. One of my moms in particular, she has a tufting business. And I don't know if y'all know what tufting is, similar to knitting, but she makes rugs. and it's phenomenal. And her and I just kind of worked together. She wanted to do the business. She was kind of doing it on the side, but she was doing a whole bunch of stuff for free. And we just set some goals and action steps for her. And I just helped to press her along. She went through a business incubator, and she got her LLC. She started promoting herself on Instagram. And then she just really, it was the confidence that she built up. And I was just so excited for her. And you could see the weight lifted off her shoulders, that she just had somebody to vent to, someone to hold her accountable, to set those goals and to complete those goals, and to encourage her whenever she had a challenge of like, just let's just pivot. There's nothing wrong with pivoting. So listen, I want you as a mom to move from chaos to clarity, to capacity. Okay. So I have a couple of different options for that, of how you can do that. We have coaching, one-on-one coaching sessions that you can set up. I'm offering free coaching sessions for right now, just one, a 60-minute free coaching session. If you just want to kind of sit down and just chat about it and see if this is something that you're interested in. We could talk about the templates and systems that I have. I could show you what I have, and you can see if it's something you want to do more regularly. Also, I have add-ons available for done for you VA help, virtual assistance help. And I have a founding client discount or a bonus virtual assistant hours if you sign up within 48 hours from this webinar. So if you are interested in that, drop some fire in the chat, and I will reach out to you personally. And now I'm gonna open it up for questions. If anybody has questions, and I'm gonna see who's here. My kids are so loud. I don't even know if y'all can even hear me. Hi, Lily.
You're good. I could just, it was like a faint chatter in the background.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, good. I appreciate it.
This was great. This was helpful, Tiffany. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad that you're here. And if you, I will send the recording, the replay of this out. So, Carissa, if you want to share it with some of the ladies, please feel free to. And I will include with it a link to book a one-on-one session. And I would be more than honored to do a free one-on-one session with any of the moms that you have. So I would love to offer that to them, just to kind of chat and see where they are, and see if they want more. They want more webinars, whatever it is that they need. I just want to be there to serve them.
Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I will certainly yeah, put it out there, and if let them decide like what they would like to do or what they found helpful. So,
Perfect. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. I'm so glad that y'all are here, and I hope that y'all have a wonderful rest of the night.
you too, Ebony.
Okay.
We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.